Hey there, YouTubers. I've got my messy hair back from the future. Look, I'm a futurist, so I come back to the present time in science fiction, that is. I'm not trying to give you a new metaphysics here. I actually don't believe in time travel. I don't think there are other times. Like, I don't think there is a past to go to or a future to go to. I don't believe that these exist, nor do I believe in parallel universes. I don't know what it would mean to do that. I think philosophers have gotten so weak that they leave it to like physicists and mathematicians to make a mess, because philosophy has gotten very weak. If philosophy wants to get strong, it needs a diet of Wittgenstein and Buckminster Fuller combined, because we need to understand meaning as use in order to understand why synergetics makes more sense than people think it does. So, yeah, I've been continuing to do homework on the tanker business, learning a lot. I think the UK tried to start something there. We were hoping, a clique was hoping to get the war going just before the 4th of July so that patriotism could be outpouring right on cue. And then that didn't work, so now they're trying other things. And the UK government there is kind of desperate. Elections coming up, and they could see a war as being like everyone wants a big groundswell of patriotism, but they're not getting it because everyone's tired of it and they see through it. So happy birthday, Bucky Fuller, today, as a check on whether anyone's paying attention to the concentric hierarchy of polyhedrons. That's the whole number volumes meme, which the math world has seen fit to sit on. There is another one. Hey, okay. Oh, but it's by me. Okay, yep, that's my video showing that I'm paying attention to that meme and see if anyone else out there wants to jump in. What is it again? Well, let's go back to the area of a eutrogon. Now, that's a useful word because almost no one uses it or knows it. So when you want to get to the few web pages that are about this, eutrogon, just type it in and boom, you're there. So useful to coin terms sometimes. It helps with search. So this guy was not into Bucky Fuller as far as I know, but he discovered on his own that any triangle with a 60-degree angle, if you would like, you can express its area A times B in terms of the number of equilateral triangular units, ETUs, that it covers. And there's some proof going on here, but the picture at the bottom says it all. A times B gives you this sliver, this area, flat area, that is equivalent to that many ETUs, right? A times B. So it's basically questioning whether we need to always use squares to measure an area. And this was exciting to Wayne Roberts, and so I think he would have been even more excited, or at least as excited, that you can use the same approach. Here we're showing the eutrogon insight, right? So this is a eutrogon. Actually, this is an equilateral triangle, which is a eutrogon. It has three 60-degree angles, so clearly it does have one, and that's what it takes to be a eutrogon, have a 60-degree angle. One or three, basically, because you can't have two on a plane. I understand it's different when you're on a sphere and so on. So you continue with that and go to the tetrahedron, regular tetrahedron, and again, we could give it a special name if one of the corners is like a regular tetrahedron's corner. We could call this a eutrahedron or something, I guess. But anyway, it's a fragment of a regular tetrahedron where we go A times B times C, and we get the volume, ABC. You don't have to do anything but multiply the numbers together. So like this would be, let's see, I don't give the, that would be 2 times 2 times 5, I think, but let's take another example. For example here, yeah, 2 times 2 times 5, so the volume of this thing is 20. Now, so what? Big deal. Well, when you get to unit volume of the tetrahedron, once that's established as a paradigm, then you've got a nice whole number rational way to deal with other polyhedrons. That's unit, and then 1/24th of unit we call an A module, and then we can dissect the octahedron to get also the B modules, which Frank Zubek correctly defines at first and then goes off the rails a bit. He's one of my detractors. See a previous video on that. And then we can combine two A's and a B to get a space-filling quote-unquote mite. So it's a nice, interesting system dealing with polyhedrons. But what people have done with Buckminster Fuller is they've diverted the attention only to the geodesic dome. And then said that, well, that wasn't really his invention anyway, because there was this guy in Jena who I acknowledge, right? I mean, it's not, priority is not super important to me anyway, right? And I don't think Fuller ripped him off. I don't think Fuller ripped off Alexander Graham Bell on the octet truss. It's just these are logical designs, and if we give people time to think and a fellowship, as Fuller recommended, that we let automation take its course and let fewer and fewer humans have to work like slaves, right? As Alfred North Whitehead said, what civilization is a vector away from slavery. The more slavery, the less civilized. It doesn't matter how many gadgets you have. We could all have smartphones and be completely uncivilized, because it has nothing to do with our level of invention, except that inventions do have the potential to make us more free if they're used that way. Like you can use a ballpoint pen to stab someone, as Fuller says in Grunch of Giants. It's like, it's not the technology's fault. You can use television to brainwash people with a lot of fiction that's completely out of touch with reality, but you can mold their thinking with that, and so you can abuse television, you can abuse the web, you can abuse everything. But suppose we were to use our technology intelligently, what could we do, right? It'd be pretty interesting to try it sometime. But at the moment, of course, we have little cliques of oligarchs who hide behind the flags and the religions and try to manipulate the world with their media and their messages and get the wars going that they want going, right? Get those the munitions makers. They'll sell to both sides. We've seen that in history, right? It's just get the war going, sell to both sides, have them fight each other to the death. We make out like bandits and continue. And the idea is there's too many people anyway, so they're expendable. It's we, the privileged, who deserve to inherit the world. Nothing about the meek in that, right? Very not Christian, of course. I don't know any religion really that's in favor of humans being a complete failure, but there are a lot of cliques, like the ones trying to start a war with Iran. Nothing to do with the United States or England or any of that. It's people, individuals, and they hide behind flags, right? They try to make it be a national thing because they want patriotism. So I think on that line that if on Bucky Fuller's birthday, since he was a premier futurist flagship kind of guy for the United States for so long, that if you are not teaching the concentric hierarchy at all, as a matter of history, if not mathematics, although I'd say this looks like mathematics, to me this looks like math, I don't know. But if you want to teach it as history, fine. But if you want to not teach it at all, just totally bleep it over like you've been doing for 40 years, to me that's supremely unpatriotic. That's like, wow, gosh, and you call yourself an American. Amazing that you do that. The hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Anyway, I just thought I'd rant a bit. I do this a lot, I rant. In the Quakers, we have quietists and ranters, and that's pretty much the spectrum, right? If you can't keep your mouth shut during meeting for worship and you have to subject everybody to a lecture, that's called a ranter. Now, if you just do it once or twice or now and then, okay, that's expected actually. That's called ministry. But if you just do it over and over and over and over, right, that's a ranter. So, and ranters are passionate a lot of the time. Abolitionists were ranters, according to many Quakers. Like your standard middle class, well to do Quaker was not into immediatist agenda. That was get rid of slavery now. No, we'll get around to it eventually, someday, right? We'll figure out a place where we can send all the black people back to Africa. That's how we'll get rid of slavery. We'll send them all to Liberia or something. A lot of Quakers were like that. And today it's the same thing. People like me, it's like nuclear weapons are clearly criminal. They're being used to terrorize all of us, including myself. And what? Let's get rid of those suckers. And you can't just get rid of them. It's nuclear waste, right? All that plutonium, it's there forever now. We have to deal with it. The sooner we grow up as a species and stop being dumb babies, the better, right? That's my attitude. So, but there are a lot of Quakers, I guess, like I saw a few in England who are like, oh, that's hopeless. Don't try to get rid of nuclear weapons. That's never going to happen, right? So that's not my brand of Quaker. I'm all about abolition. Anyway, this whole number of volumes table, here it is. It's in Wikipedia. It's at my digital math website on Wiki Educator. If you're a math teacher or an American literature teacher and you have a sense of the integrity of this material, you're more than welcome to jump in and join the rest of us in trying to rescue really the United States. If you want to fight for the United States, I have a suggestion. Teach its indigenous mathematics. You've heard of ethnomathematics? Well, here you go. Good example. Ethnomathematics. This is indigenous American mathematics. If you're not teaching it, maybe you're from the UK and you don't like those Americans because they fought you. Still are sometimes. All right. Talk to you soon.